The thing about stem cells that I first think of is that there is a lot of mystery behind it. It
Hmm.
was at a time many years ago kind of seen as this will change everything. We will be able to grow limbs and just regenerate. And that was, over a decade ago where you had this promise. And there were
Hmm.
regulations and a lot of different, I think, misconceptions about what stem cells are, aren't, and what they can do. Can you maybe start there by clarifying what exactly are stem cells and why are they so necessary for health?
Okay, we'll probably need the hour to go through all of that in layers because there are a lot of
Yes.
layers. So hopefully we can cover a lot of this during our talk. But
Yeah.
but where I would like to end with this whole presentation of stem cells is people realizing that while stem cells appear and have been talked about so much as being a treatment, technological development, cutting edge research, like something very sophisticated medically, in reality, it would be like if today we discovered suddenly the immune system,
Hmm.
that we did not know about it, and suddenly everything would appear so novel, so sophisticated. And stem cells are like that. They are something, they have always been there. You are alive today because you release stem cells every day. They are your innate repair system, maintenance system. They play a daily crucial role in your survival. And we're just now lifting the cover on it. So it appears as something super novel. And somewhere I would like that dust to settle so that we can see through all of this and realize it's just a normal part of my physiology. So what they are, to directly answer your question, let's call it the mother cell. Like in 1905, there was a Dr. Alexander Maximow, Russian scientist. After a lineage of those scientists who observed various types of lymphocytes, they observed that when you look at all the lymphocytes in the blood, you can see that they seem to all emerge from one original lymphocyte. So after all that work, Alexander Maximow looked at all of this and basically said, it looks like there is one mother cell that gives rise not only to all blood cells, but all cells of the body. We are in 1905. At the time, the idea it's just too new, it's too provocative. So it's forgotten. And it came back in the 50s after an accident at a nuclear facility in the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia at the time. And people were irradiated. And we knew from Hiroshima that if we don't give them stem cell injection, blood transfusion, they can no longer make blood. So we will have to give them blood like every 2-3 months. And after one blood transfusion, they're fine. They're making their own blood. So it brought back this whole idea. Well, it looks like there is a mother cell that once injected. So I'm giving you something that sort of the history of how it came. And as we looked at all of this, we discovered in the early 2000s that stem cell, known now for 5 decades to be the precursors to blood cells, well, guess what? It's doing like what Alexander Maximow expressed a century ago. They are the mother cell of the body. So a stem cell is a cell that resides in your bone marrow that is going to be released from the bone marrow, go into every single organs and tissues of the body, migrate in there and form what is called the tissue-specific stem cells, the stem cell layer of that tissue that is essential to repair and maintain that tissue. And whenever there's a damage that goes beyond the repair capacity of that stem cell layer, stem cells from the bone marrow are released to come and assist in that process of tissue repair. That's really what stem cells are and what they do in the body.
Yeah. And it's a very important function, but it's also many different ways we can go about looking and achieving optimal stem cell health and getting more stem cells into the body, which is what you've been doing for a long time, figuring that out. Most people understand stem cells as, I believe, a two-road street. There is one that comes from outside the body, let's say an
Mhm.
embryo or fetus or something, which has been outlawed in some ways in the United States, in all
Mhm.
ways, really. And then there's the one where you go into the bone marrow, where you would
Mhm.
go in through a large needle, pull out those stem cells, and then
Mhm.
re-inject them
Painful.
into the body. Yes, painful. But there are other avenues as well. Can you talk about how you created STEMREGEN as a third avenue to this, where most people see this as a two-way street?
Yeah. So, and I want to comment on what you just said. What you just expressed there is what everybody knows about. You go somewhere, they take stem cells from a source, which could be external to you or from you. We tweak them in the lab, oftentimes don't do anything to them, and we re-inject them to you. So we increase the number of stem cells in circulation through an injection, not knowing that you release them every day and you can release them from the bone marrow. And that's the approach that I have studied, just to put that in the context of what people normally hear about stem cells. So for me, it started in 1995. So I was working with blue-green algae from Klamath Lake, AFA. And I was hired to study the mechanism of action of how this plant, this microalgae, was working in the body, because DSHEA had just been passed, the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, and companies had to have science to back up any of the claims that they would make in a product. So I did the work. We very quickly identified the anti-inflammatory properties and mechanism of action of AFA, its effect on the immune system, and its effect on concentration, mood elevation, to the point of being at times antidepressant. So we documented it very quickly. But as I'm doing all this work, I come across people who reversed multiple sclerosis, liver failure, kidney failure, diabetes, heart disease, Parkinson, Alzheimer's, emphysema. So the question from a scientific point of view is, what is this microalgae doing to help someone's liver, someone else's heart, someone else's lung, pancreas, brain, spinal cord, skin, joints? What is the common denominator? A plant does not do 1,000 things. So what is the common denominator that would lead to all these kinds of benefits? And for about 5 years, we did a number of studies. One of them, for example, at a hospital linked with Harvard. We got great data, but you take a little bit of distance, and while the data is great, it does not explain what we're seeing really. So it was a mystery for a while, until early 2001. I came across a paper. The title was "Turning Blood into Brain." It was, to my knowledge, so my background is brain research, neurophysiology. We were told the brain does not regenerate. This is dogma. And here's a paper that describes stem cells, only known to be precursors to blood cells, leaving the bone marrow, going to the brain, and becoming a brain cell. I mean, breaking two dogmas of medical science. I thought it was very interesting. So I went to the local library to see what else I could find. And I found one study documenting that stem cells could go to the heart and become heart cells, and another one showing that stem cells could go to the liver and becoming liver cells. So my thought, we're in 2001. If stem cells can become heart, liver, and brain, why not pancreas, skin, lung, and the rest? Makes no sense that there's a process for stem cells to become brain, heart, and liver, and not the rest. So it was just a matter of time. Scientists will document these other tissues. So let's assume that they can become everything. How do you want stem cells to become everything in the body and it's not their function? Your eyes, your retina now responds to light. It's not random. It's for the very purpose of you perceiving light. So if stem cells becoming a brain cell, it has to be its function. So they have to be the repair system of the body. So we published an article in a journal, Medical Hypotheses. We suggested that stem cells were the repair system of the body. And what if, in the back of my mind, what if that microalgae worked as a stem cell mobilizer, putting stem cells in the blood circulation? They will go in the pancreas of the diabetic, the lung of the emphysema, the heart of the heart patient, the brain of the Parkinson patient, and we should see a broad variety of benefits. So we acquired the equipment to count stem cells. We started to count stem cells, and we discovered that plant was indeed a stem cell mobilizer, something that nobody had looked at before because it was not a thing. So I stopped everything, and in my life basically took the direction of stem cell research. So that's how we discovered plants that could act as stem cell mobilizers.